Peace, 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 everyone. Yeah, Dr. Bass with another good show. Dr. Bass, thank you very much for another great opportunity, brother. Big shout out to Source, the spiritual team, True Self, the Cosmos, the whole nine yards. How's it going, brother?
Yeah, it's going good, God going good. Major revelations, major transformations, and we just keep on living, I guess.
Gotta keep on living, my brother. Hey, guess what? Brother Panic, shout out to him. He literally said, so we remember the videos that we played with Brother Panic and Bobby Hemmett where they explained death is the ultimate frontier. Death is the final frontier. Like we know that yeah, death is the number one thing that no living entity, be it plant, mineral, animal, or human, regardless of what human you're talking about, the original carbon melanated beings or the later day non-melanated beings, regardless. Death is the number one thing, the only thing we cannot escape. You can dodge, you can dodge a left hook, you can dodge a right hook, but when that Grim Reaper comes with that sight, motherfucker, run all you want. When that day comes, when that moment comes, you gotta relent. And it's interesting, right? Because life just is. We know that energy cannot be created and destroyed, as mundane regular science proves to us already. It can only be transferred or transmuted into something else. But energy cannot be destroyed. It had no beginning, neither will it ever have an end. So Christians best get off their high horse with this, oh, there was a beginning. And yes, there was a beginning to the physical universe, but not life itself. Life in and of itself, energy, consciousness, it never had a beginning, neither will it ever have an end. This universe had a beginning and it will have an end. And even mundane science once again shows us that. But I mean, come the fuck on. We're we have reached a point, Dr. Bass, where we should get off of that play school, childish kindergarten type of nonsense of bickering and arguing with people, because it makes no sense, my brother. It just makes no fucking sense. But getting back to Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic. So yeah, life just is. So why the hell are you worried about pesticides being sprayed in foods as well as yeah, those, what you call those, the yeah, those planes that be spraying that
Oh
are
yeah,
bullshitting?
Kendra.
Yeah, chemtrails, fucking chemtrails. And you're also worried about oh yeah, a safe falling on your, I mean, that's gonna be painful as fuck. I mean, that's a lot of pain to experience. A anvil falling on your head, probably killing you right there on the spot. And if it doesn't kill you, that shit definitely is gonna do a lot of damage. But I mean to say, or even something like a car accident, so-called unfortunate situations that I wouldn't want to wish upon anyone. But I'm, well, unless you're talking about the motherfuckers who run the system, to which fuck them. But bro, when we talking about yeah, any of these situations, that's literally just ending the physical body. That's just ending the physical experience. And I don't care if you're a so-called Jew. I don't care if you're a so-called Muslim. I don't care if you're a so-called Christian. I don't care if you're in voodoo, hoodoo, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, the Illuminati, or whatever it is. Death is the number one thing you cannot fucking escape because be it high vibrational or low vibrational beings, we are not these physical bodies. So-called white people, they are not those physical bodies. Niggas, we are not these physical bodies. These bodies are just machines that we use to operate in this physical realm. So we get that out of the way. Death is nothing to be feared because there are still cultures to this day. I'm not even talking about going back to when we ruled, bro, when we were in power and whatnot, when our civilizations were still booming and popping and everything was highly spiritual and we did everything in a spiritual level to ensure that, yeah, transitioning from the physical body back into the higher spiritual realms was instantaneously certified because yeah, we did everything on a spiritual level. So we need not worry or be afraid about anything, which is a far cry from what the religions of today teach, which is so ironic because how the fuck are you so afraid of death when even your Bible says flesh and blood cannot enter into the kingdom? Come on. You have to get rid of the physical body when the time comes. I remember our first live, and I'll never forget that, my brother. And Dr. Bass, why on earth should we be afraid of death? It is the ultimate frontier. It is the ultimate shebang bang. Bro, we should be happy when the day comes that to know that we will get back to our true selves and get rid of these damn physical bodies, because even in the ancient world it teaches us why we should escape reincarnation and having to go through all the pain and suffering and the unnecessary misery of having to be in a physical realm. Bro, there be days, I kid you not, during that the period I had, you could say for the last 10 months, bro, I'm telling you, there were just days where I was like Tupac in the song Changes. Is life worth living, or should I really? Well, then again, I don't have a gun, but I mean to say, I could have been heavily contemplating whether I should just end it, because, bro, this is some fucking bullshit. I am a multidimensional, great, powerful spiritual being. Why should I continually come back into this fucking realm? You know what I'm saying? This is not my realm. This is not my home. I know I'm not from here. And I'm very grateful for my true self and spiritual team for really having allowed me to go through all the experiences I went through to really show me that, yeah, because, bro, I'm telling you, even from since I was a little boy within this physical body, this realm always came across as strange and foreign and bizarre to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm just watching the trees, which are nature. I'm just watching the trees and I'm like, what the hell is all of this? Like, it's like I knew deep down that I'm from somewhere greater. You know what it is I'm saying? But either way, bro, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, you've had your own experiences regarding this physical realm and whatnot, which you will get a chance to share. And yeah, so going back to what Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic taught us, yeah, so nobody has to be in this physical realm. Whether you're talking about lower vibrational beings like the so-called reptilians, the Dracos, so-called white people, whatever the fuck you want to call these entities, whatever the labels you want to give them, nobody has to be here in this realm. Yet, it's interesting to me how a lot of beings, well, just like if you get back to what Bobby was saying, when you allow a psychopath, a maniac to literally take charge and run a society, there is no way that society is functioning on a high vibrational, on a wise, intelligent, adult like manner. Even though Jesus himself said we got to make ourselves like the children in order to see the kingdom of heaven. But that's neither here nor there. Um, it's very important for us to know that, yeah, because this society is being run by fucking psychopaths, psychopathic religions, psychopathic treatment of the foods we eat, uh concentration camps, prison camps, schools for little children. They start from young to make sure to capture the children's minds. After all, I saw a saying from a priest that literally said, "Give me a child before the age of 7, and he's mine for life." These motherfuckers, I have to let it be known, so-called white people, Caucasians, or whatever you label yourselves, the people who enslaved niggers, aka so-called black people, melanated people, these were all Freemasons. There was absolutely no way could a regular, everyday Caucasian, non-melanated person own a slave and he wasn't at least knowledgeable in the occult to some capacity. It just wasn't happening. Throw that out the window. These motherfuckers were Freemasons. They knew about the primordial origins of the universe, how everything began with darkness and then the light which came from the darkness, Heru coming from Osset, Osset representing the primordial darkness, Soot coming from Ta'urt representing the primordial darkness, but the light that also comes from the darkness, the light is the child of the darkness. Let's just get that out of the way. The light is the child of the darkness. Straight up. Deep esoteric stuff. I ain't talking to a bunch of fucking kindergartners or play schoolers right here, my brother. I am expecting fully grown, mature, spiritual adults, or even for those who probably are just getting into this, a good place to start is read Gerald Massey's books, read Helena Blavatsky's books, get into Robert Anton Wilson's books as well. Get also into Lon Milo Duquette and Christopher S. Hyatt's books. They have a lot of good occult and esoteric books. You need to get into the occult, esoteric versions of every spiritual system. The occult to Kabbalah, no, the occult to Judaism is Kabbalah. The occult to Christianity is Gnosticism. The occult to Islam is Sufism. These we're talking about mythological, highly sophisticated spiritual systems. Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, Dr. Mumbi, Real Merkaba, Dr. Phil Valentine, Dr. Yaffa Bey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, what's the other brother? Khalid Muhammad. Like, bro, I'm telling you, we had brethren who, thankfully, Dr. Joseph Ben Yochanan, Dr. John Henrik Clark, these brothers and sisters literally helped pave the way for us. We could do no greater service than to literally put people onto these beings. Yes, even so-called white people. I need y'all to read those books, get books from those authors, because you will be repudiated. You will be freaking shocked and you will be disgusted at what motherfuckers who look like y'all, yes, you so-called white people, you will be absolutely disgusted at what motherfuckers who look like y'all have gone through, not only to put us through misery, but to put you through misery as well. Think about it, my brother. If we're going through misery, every fucking body else is going through misery. Straight up, straight up. There's no other way behind of it. But enough blathering on my part. Like, I really get, I really do wish that people really get the message, bro. Dr. Bass, what can I say? Take it away.
Oh yeah, definitely because like death is all like really like full circle. So it's all like you know how like that mythical pictures of like that full circle of life, the circle of life. Well, death has to be ending, and then you know it starts with a rebirth. But most of the people are having a rebirth through reincarnation. But if you really tap into those spiritual knowledges, then you can move past that reincarnation and really have a rebirth where you can enter your true self into the where we really came from, like our real home in the spiritual dimensions and everything like that. And then for arguments, it's mostly just miscommunication. A lot of people like love to gossip about other people. Everyone just loves to talk about other people and whatnot. But when they really get to that person, they just beat around the bush. They don't really talk about what they need to talk about. And because they're getting misunderstood, they try to raise their voice, they try to yell and scream and everything like that to have them get heard, but it's coming from a place of negativity. So if you're coming from a place of negativity, of course you're gonna get with negativity back. So that's how arguments start to form. And then this is all just like a physical temple. So like if like a physical vessel. So we use these vehicles to operate on this physical realm. You get what I'm saying? Of course, there's stuff that goes in like behind the scenes though that we don't see. And those, of course, there's stuff that we don't necessarily always see through the spiritual, but once you wake in your first eye, then you can start seeing like these light energies or like your orbs around you, your aura, and all that other good stuff. And then for religious people, when it comes to death and dying, a lot of religious people automatically assume you're going to heaven. But like obviously, if you're scared to die, like then of course you're gonna have doubt because anything you're scared of, anything that you have fear of, or anything that you're worried about is coming from a place of uncertainty, like uncertainty.
Uncertainty.
Yeah, so like, so that just means like, hey, you don't really know about death. You don't even know where you're gonna go.
And you want to know the sad part?
Yeah.
And you know the sad part to it, Dr. Bass, just as you like, I honestly I could not have worded it better than you did. How in the hell? How in this world? How on Mars or Jupiter or Saturn or whatever you want to call these other planets or whatnot? How could you have possibly gone through an entire life of religious indoctrination, of literally having to sing hallelujah, praise Allah, Jesus, Muhammad, this and that, for you to reach on your deathbed and literally say, I'm scared to die. I don't know what lies beyond. I really am not ready to go. Well, let me let me make it easier for all of y'all, and we'll get back to you, Dr. Bass. In the Bible, in bold red letters, the Jesus character literally said, God is the God of the living, not the God of the dead. And we're going to get to Brother Bobby Hemmett on that one because, bro, it's literally written right in the fucking book. He's the God of the living, not the God of the fucking dead. But I thought death, just like we mentioned already, is the ultimate frontier. It's the final frontier. Why the fuck could? Why are you telling me that you are the God of the living and not the God of the dead? That means the moment I'm on my deathbed, you don't give a fuck about me. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you, you bitch. Because that just clearly shows us, Dr. Bass, we are dealing with a subordinate entity. This isn't the source. This isn't the all in all. This is a fucking fraud, a scam, a faker. Dr. Bass, take it away and add your own perspective on it because it is just sad, my brother. It's literally written in the fucking text.
Right, and the fact that you brought up he's the God of the living, not the God of the dead, but so like when people like die and then they do all these rituals of like singing they singing all these hymns and all those weird stuff that they be doing when people die and whatnot, then they really just preparing y'all to not even go to like that so-called heaven that they were really talking about. And then like at this point, they're putting your body 6 feet under, and we already know where these underground caves and where the underground bunkers be at. And we already know where they be doing the cloning and everything like that. So guess what? They putting your body 6 feet under, and we already know that these underground caves for these dark entities be roaming around and everything like that is 6 feet under. So that's why they take your physical body and then they clone and do all this weird stuff to bring you back to bring you back up, bring you back to life, kind of in a way. And then they only focus on power, money, and pleasure. So
Wow. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for that perspective, Dr. Bass. I never really looked at it that way. I never stopped to think, yo, what do these motherfuckers really be doing with these? I just never dived that deep. Well, thank you very much for that perspective, Dr. Bass. Because there be so many things going on behind the scenes for real that motherfuckers. First of all, people in this society really think that these motherfuckers are working in their best favor. So-called white people really think that white supremacy and all this dog shit is really working in their favor. No, motherfuckers, a lot of you bitches literally died from the double Big Mac, the so-called COVID jabs and whatnot, even more than fucking melanated people. A lot of y'all literally got capped by your own fucking governments and got put down on lockdown and all that shit from your own fucking governments who look just like you. So you don't give me this bullshit about black and white because they're making it look like it's black and white when in reality they want to fucking enslave everyone. So thank you very much for the perspective, Dr. Bass.
oh yeah, definitely. Like for like the white supremacy, like really they don't really even care about you. So like they just look at you as collateral damage and then just look at all these other countries and what they're doing to their own people, especially China. Like these people in China, what they're doing to these Chinese people is out of this world. It's crazy out that joint. But we already know what they trying to plan and everything like that. But and nowadays, like no one is talking about all these miscarriages and all these kids that are coming up missing or just leaving their physical bodies and everything like that. And it's been raising up ever since people like these parents are getting the double Big Mac because now it's transmuted into their child, and now the child it doesn't have an immune system because their parents doesn't have an immune system. So now they're even more vulnerable of getting all these toxins from the double Big Mac, and then their physical bodies can't assume all those toxins. So now these kids are just coming up either just dying from it, or just like coming up missing. And like we already know like the white and black fans and what they be doing to all these kids and everything like that. And we already know about Pettywood and all that other stuff. But really, like, it's all about diving deep into the occult and really knowing true knowledge, so you can use, because the best weapon that you can use is knowledge at the end of the day. So if you're a whale, then that's all you need to know. Because like a lot of people think, oh, that person needs a master's degree. Now this person needs a doctor's degree. And then I saw like a lot of people saying like, oh, education is free if for an associate's degree if you're 25 and up and whatnot. So they just really trying to push people to go to college, to get a job, to have that slave mentality where you work, work, work for another person and you barely receive anything else. But they don't tell you about real entrepreneurship. They don't tell you like the real information and everything like that. But yeah.
And Dr. Bass, if I could add my own experience, while I definitely can't say that I'm familiar with entrepreneurship and having your own business and whatnot, I could tell you what it's like to not work for another motherfucker and make another motherfucker's dreams come true. Man, it is very liberating. It is very freeing. You literally don't have that weight on your shoulders. What I will say though is that as long as we're still in this society, having to deal with this society, we're just going to have to do what we must in order to ensure that we don't just survive, because survival is so animalistic, it's so lower brained, it's so like low level. Because indeed, big shout out to Dr. Mumbi. These motherfuckers do everything they can to ensure that we are so occupied with a bunch of stupid shit that really doesn't matter, when we really have to just sit back, which is why meditation, or just taking time out for yourself to literally stop, observe your thoughts. Because instead of thinking, we should be the watcher, observing thoughts. A good book that people should read, bro, is Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. Bro, I'm telling you, too many people are focused on a past that literally you should only look at it as a lesson or lessons that were learned, and that you should learn to enjoy your now, having learned from those lessons, and are too focused on a future that just does not exist. The future does not exist, people. The past is literally whatever. You've been through all of that. You don't allow that to govern who you are now. Rather, work on your now, work in the now to continuously become a better individual, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that you're growing spiritually, and that physically you're doing what you must in order to put yourself in a better position each and every moment. Because, bro, that is a good book. The Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, and another good book, The Kabbalion. People need to be aware that the all is mental, that that the all is mind, and that the universe is mental. We are not the mind. We are not the body. We are not the thoughts. Neither are we the experiences that we have. These are all just experiences that we go through. But which is why Muji, big shout out to Muji, he said there is nothing in this world to conquer, to overcome, or to transcend, because everything is up here in the mind. All of your gods and demons live there. All of your friends and enemies live there. All of your trials and tribulations live here. It's all in the mind, my brother. We live in a mental universe, which is why the law of attraction, by the way, it's the law of attraction is literally just a minuscule part of what the overall laws of the universe entail. Suffice it to say, you have seven laws, which you can definitely look into them, because the seven laws of Jehuti, essentially. Jehuti, the ibis headed god of wisdom and magic from ancient Kemet, Those seven laws combined with yeah, everything that they teach you in that book, the Kybalion. Get that book. Very important reads. These are very important reads. How to control the mind, how to really take control of your reality, uh, starting with controlling your mind, and by way of the Kabbalion and Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, because too often people are focused on the past and the future when neither of these, either they no longer exist, or the future just doesn't exist, period. You live in the now. But Dr. Bass, I'm telling you, it's some good stuff, my brother. It's some good stuff we share in here. This is not for kindergartners. This is not for play schoolers. Just imagine. And big shout out to Dr. Mumbi. You are freaking Michael Jordan. You are literally in the big leagues. You with the big dogs. You rolling. You winning games. You winning championships. And then you gotta play against a bunch of fucking toddlers. Dr. Bass, we're in the big leagues and we literally gotta fucking get into arguments and literally have to deal with fucking toddlers, spiritual babies. Nah, man. Take it back, Dr. Bass. We don't got time for that here. We don't have time for that, period.
Yeah, definitely. That's why like I know for everyone when they start waking up and starting their like spiritual journey, they wanna like tell like all these people about like to tell people about knowledge and want to like awaken your family and friends and all that stuff like that. But you got once you like kind of come out of that, you'll realize and you could gain clarity that these people are just spiritual babies. So like you over here trying to tell them like the simple stuff like chakras or something like that. And then they be like, oh, what's that? Oh, they don't like they just bringing up arguments because that affects their own um belief systems, like those self-limiting belief systems. So instead of arguing, instead of being in that low vibration trying to force someone to wake up, you just have to like just focus on yourself, because at this point a lot of people are just spiritual babies out here, especially the older folk. Like the older folk are just scared of their own lives and just manifesting their own demise because they keep focusing on it. So it's like you can't really mess with a lot of people out here. And then for the Kabbalion, like nothing lasts, everything moves, everything vibrates, everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites, like and unlike are the same, opt, op, opposites are
Opposite,
identical
yeah.
in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meets, all truths are but half truths. And yeah, like walk in the now, because like a lot of people say YOLO and you only live once. Like this is really their only life, and they can leave at any time and whatnot. So like if you really believe in that, well, it's time to just be in the present moment at this point. And then it's all about like following your heart desires and anything, like because desires are more valuable than your wants. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I want, for example, like 1 million subscribers. Once they get 1 million subscribers, oh, I want 2 million. Oh, I want 5 million. Oh, I want 10 millions. You know what I'm
They
saying? You
don't
could,
learn to be grateful. They don't learn to be grateful
uh,
and like take everything, accept everything for what it is. They don't position themselves in that mental place of gratefulness to which, yeah, the universe is literally just going to carry you. Yes, the universe is going to lead you to what you could even imagine, because truly the things that you experience oftentimes tend to come out better than what you would have ever even imagined, but people just don't give the universe or their true self the time to really manifest that for them, you know what I mean?
yeah, definitely. It's like they only focus on what they don't have instead of appreciating the journey and what they have now. But because like at this point, some things come to you in divine timing, so you can't really rush divine timing. So what, because like sometimes either you're not ready, that other person might be ready, not be ready, the circumstance might be not be ready, and all these other things that you don't see that's going on behind closed doors is taking place. So it all makes sense at this point. And then like in this realm, nothing really even really matters. So like you over here doing like, walk or like doing stuff that really doesn't bring you joy or doesn't bring you like doesn't really matter in the spiritual world. So like a lot of people say they're busy. A lot of people say they do this and do that, but they really not busy in the spiritual world. They're just busy in the physical world. So that's the difference. And then
Oh yeah. And
yeah,
just like what we already spoke about, Dr. Bass, it would be very, very, and yeah, I'm definitely just putting it out there. Whoever could receive it, whoever like has the mind to grasp what I'm saying, may they grasp it. It would be very, very important for people who are so busy and caught up in the mundane everyday nonsense of the matrix of this physical realm, this system, which is literally on its way down anyway, which is literally collapsing right before our very eyes. It would be very wise for people to literally get more into nature and literally learn to live off grid. Because, bro, like what Bobby Hemmett said, they took us from where we were out in the countryside, out in nature and whatnot, put us in fucking cities, literally enslaved us with taxation and all that stupid shit. So essentially, the thieves made themselves look like owners of things that they are really not entitled to or have any how can I say, they don't have any uh heirship to. They're not heirs to any fucking thing, my brother. They're not even heirs to this physical realm, but they've played the con game, they've played the scam game so well that they made it look like as if they're heirs to even this physical realm, when this physical realm, when it was in higher places, it could not house beings so low, being so parasitic, being so vampiristic. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, people need to, it would be very beneficial for people to have an experience of living off grid just so that they can see, wow, I really don't need this fucking system. I really don't need any of this stupid shit. Just putting it out there, brother.
oh yeah, definitely because like once you like realize once someone realizes they don't need the system and then they can just finesse and play with the system instead of full on being in the system, that's where like that's where your mindset kind of changes and realize, oh, other people are doing it. That means I can do it too. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people just don't really have that mindset, and a lot of people just enjoy just in this system because it's the system is really just all about pleasure and all that instant gratification and just that instant spark of joy instead of that long-term success. Like a lot of people want stuff now. They just take, take, take. But then they realize, oh, I'm just taking the wrong stuff. Instead, they can really just take that extra time and absorb different things and be like, oh, let me handpick this, let me handpick that. That will help me for my future and higher self. But if they're just like in that mindset of just take, 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 and just want, they're gonna take and want the wrong things. So that's why they just keep messing with the system. That's why they just staying in the system. And then that's why they just not evolving. So that's why they're spiritual babies instead of spiritual adults.
Well, Dr. Bass, what can I say? I couldn't have worded it better than you already did, my brother. And it's very interesting because while we're on that very topic, that whole take, 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 vampiristic, parasitic way of living, yeah, I think I it would be most beneficial for people to get to once again revisit Brother Panic's perspective on the whole matter because yeah, as you could see, I shared the video with you, bro. Brother Panic on is the demiurge your ego because, bro, I would encourage people just like how I already encouraged you. Whenever you have the time, watch the movie Revolver from Jason Statham, Andre 3000, Ray Liotta, Vincent Pastore from 2005. Yo, bro, that movie, even though entertainment wise it is a mind fuck, I could tell you the underlying message. There is no enemy outside of you other than your own damn ego, the false self, that being that was cultivated into you through this piece of shit system. Shout out to Jiddu Krishnamurti. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. It is so important for people to realize that when it all comes down to it, it's that ego that was cultivated within you that is literally your biggest enemy. Because even a Buddhist saying clearly says, and listen carefully, you have no friends, you have no enemies, you only have teachers. Look at people as spiritual adults. It is time for us to continually grow and realize and see every individual that comes into our lives, be it human or otherwise, as teachers, an individual who literally has something to help us to see, something to help us to realize that we probably did not realize before. Because, bro, the ego is our biggest enemy. Let Brother Panic speak. Take it away, Dr. Bass.
Oh yeah, let me share that. And then in the meantime, like the full of ego, it's all like revolves around humanity anyways. And then we should just be focusing on joy. And then like this is besides the point, but just like for the wildfires, we already know what they be doing behind closed doors, and they're gonna say like, oh yeah, it's global warming, or it's climate change, or blah blah blah, but it was really them causing it. And then you see how people are still talking about Donald Trump and like this like input being it, making them in like prison and stuff like
Impeachment
that.
is impeachment, the
Yeah,
impeachment or some shit like that. I haven't really been keeping up with, based off of what I'm hearing people talking about. It's just a bunch of distractions. It's nothing but a bunch of nonsense. Like, we got far more important things to focus on, my brother. And these psychopathic, clownish children who run this society, because remember, like I said, a society being run by psychopaths can never breed spiritually mature beings. They keep us as low a vibration as possible because they fucking know that they themselves cannot ascend to a higher level. So they're trying to keep everyone else as on low a level as they can. But fuck them. Because beings like you and I, as well as many others who may be watching this, my brother, yo, we ain't got time for that shit. It's all a distraction. It's all literally just trying to draw our attention to matters that have nothing to do with us whatsoever, because we got our own selves to ascend and transcend and to literally work on moving forward. So yeah, go ahead, Dr. Bass.
yeah, for sure.
He asked, which is a good question, is the demiurge your ego? Yes. And where you hear it the most, it's a Greek word. It means like a false god or something like that, or lesser god, one or the other. But you hear that the most in Gnosticism. And they talk about the demiurge and pretty much the creator of this place and all things human in human thought belongs to him. Well, human thought is the ego. This place is an aspect of the ego. Creation is the ego. So when you used to hear brothers like Phil say things like, which he's repeating from a doctrine, I am that I am, or you even heard that in the Bible. Who are you? I am that I am. That's another way of saying whatever you could possibly think of, I am. I don't have to express it. So when you say, I'm a bee, I'm a flower, I'm a gnat, rat, cat, and a dog, and all of these things in creation that you see, that's the one I am that I am trying to prove itself. So creation itself is an ego trip. This is an ego. That's the game here. You're coming into the ego to understand how to get back to the true nature of I am that I am. that it's all internal. Or you heard this before, becoming the one. To become the one is to understand that you are all the gods, which is what I said earlier. You are all the gods, the one. You understand what I'm saying? And I explained that of all the gods that are on the boat with you in the pyramid text of how they have different roles in your DNA because you are all these gods. These gods are aspects of your DNA. You understand? So now, to become the one, you have to be truly be out of creation. Because creation, you are a bee, you are a cat, you are reptilian, you are all of these things. But what you have to but you're having the experience where you think they are outside of you. That's why you're easily duped, as I pointed out with things like community, because that really, when you wash it all away, you're saying, I depend on something outside of me to become fixed, the community to become fixed, so I can become fixed. So as soon as black people figured out how to have an economy, I'll be okay. As soon as black people figure out how to have an education, I'll be okay. As soon as we create a school for black boys, I'll be okay. No, those black boys will be okay, and that's a great idea. Like I said, this is no debate or me shitting on it. Everybody does exactly what they do. But you have a mentality that when things happen outside of you in the community, just like when you were in church and you learned it in the first place, when Jesus comes back, oh, watch it, nigga. There's going to be some shit. Something outside of you. Or, oh, Oshun, thank you for allowing me to braid your hair and wash your feet. I'm going to the beach because Oshun told me. Oh, Oshun is mad at me because I didn't put out 21 glasses of water. All of those things are demiurge thoughts.
Stop it
Those
right there,
things
Dr.
that keep
Bass.
you locked in humanity.
I mean, seriously, we probably wouldn't even need to continue the whole video, although it's only 9 minutes. But like, Dr. Bass, do you see just how simple and how easy Brother Panic broke it down for even a novice to comprehend? Because when he also mentioned Jesus and Oshun, and you literally make these entities, which are energy signatures within yourself, you make them uh beings that are outside of you, because to begin with, shout out to the honorable Elijah Muhammad, to worship a god outside of you is to worship a god that is inferior to you, which is a demiurge any fucking way. But it's amazing to me like how people really cannot grasp these simple concepts. Like, you could literally tell them, hey, watch Brother Panic and literally try and comprehend his perspective on it, and if you still want to go back to your religion and whatnot, whatever. No, they don't even want to do any of that. And I want to know, just like how we spoke about before, right, Dr. Bass, considering, big shout out to Nuwapu, a channel whose videos I be sharing with some of y'all from time to time. A lot of Christians today, they don't they don't walk like how Jesus walked. They don't live like how he lived. They don't perform miracles or anything like that like he did within the mythology. Of course, Jesus never existed and whatnot, but you get what I'm saying. They don't do anything. They don't even take the simple advice and teachings that he taught that could still be relevant in one's life in today's world. Like, he taught be in the world. No, he said, uh yes, you live in the world, be in the world, but do not be part of it. You know what I mean? Dr. Bass, Christians out here literally praying, making their desires known to the public and whatnot, when he clearly told them that it's better to pray to your father in secret, go into a closet and pray in silence, and your father will hear you in silence and stuff like that. I mean, I've read the Bible a few times already, so some of these things literally come to me as second nature. But suffice it to say, if Jesus was real, and we mentioned this many times already, my brother, if he was real and he had to come back, He's barely having anyone to go back to his kingdom with him. And why would he want to take a bunch of kindergarten, play school, child-minded motherfuckers with him? Honestly, he would have to be one of the dumbest motherfuckers ever to do something like that. I'm like,
Yeah, that's fast, bro.
I'm like, look, Dr. Bass, why would you want to leave your kingdom? Why would you leave your kingdom to come down for all these so-called wretches, for these absolute nobodies? You gave them your teachings. You gave them everything that they had to know so that they could literally, because he said, the things that I do shall you do also, and greater things than these. And it's also written in your scriptures, ye are gods, like Bobby Hemmett said. You marvel at all these things that Jesus and all these people within the biblical mythologies did, when he said that you yourself can do the same fucking thing if you tap into your true self. Dr. Bass, any words before we get back to panic?
Oh yeah, for like the Jesus, like what, like we all saw, he didn't make no kids a disciple. He chose the people who were worthy. So these beings, like these physical beings, ain't worthy, so they definitely not gonna make it if he did ever like come back or whatever. And then like um telling people, like keeping things in secret and not telling people everything. So like a lot of people say, oh, but I want to speak it into existence and whatnot. Well, you just have to speak it within yourself, and then that will manifest even more.
I mean, like literally, even Dr. Phil Valentine, shout out to him. He literally said the power of secrecy. Like literally, it's all about keeping it, keeping all of your desires, keeping all of your desires and goals as secretive as possible, because you got motherfuckers who will want to fucking negate that, who will want to keep that from happening, because bro, energy is a real thing. But let's get back to panic.
And they're talking about this lesser God or a lesser aspect of your consciousness that created this place. But again, there's many debates and contradictions, just like we have now, they had then. Some look at it as a school, some look at it as a prison. When I'm finding out more through understanding, it's actually not a prison, but it can be a prison if you're ignorant. You go through a lifetime of this misery, and it just becomes about this misery, not the goal in consciousness, which is overcoming the misery. You understand? You're here to overcome it, and how you overcome it is in the heart. Therefore, I'm now understanding how it's supposed to manifest in society for me in terms of courtesy, being able to give and receive it to a nobody, because it's not about them or humanity and how it's dying. It's about you and what your heart is transforming into. The kingdom of heaven is right here, right here. And if you live by this instead of this, your gray matter brain and your thinking and your thought and your reasoning is the demiurge.
Stop it right there quick,
This
Dr.
is the
Bass.
demiurge, nigga.
I mean, like, seriously, Dr. Bass, especially when you get into the occult, when you get into the occult, it becomes so clear. It's no wonder why this society is so focused on the brain. Oh, you have to think this and you have to think that. And too often, when our own intuition, when our own heart, when our own heart center literally looks to guide us, and it has the answers, it tells us. Another good book to read is Isha Schwaller de Lubit's book, The Opening of the Way. In that book, she gets to the heart chakra energy, because we're not talking about the heart. The heart in and of itself is the engine that keeps the physical body alive, because we know once that goes out, the physical body ceases to function. But we're talking about the heart chakra center. That center is a feminine energy. It's intuitive. It's deep. which is she even goes as far as to say that it is yeah, pardon the chicken in the background. These motherfuckers, they always yeah, these motherfuckers are always out of whack. These damn roosters and whatnot, these chickens, man. But anyway, the heart chakra, this is a feminine energy, because there's another video where Brother Panic speaks about how Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, the monkey being representative of the human and their lower human nature, he blots out his name out of the book of life, but he tries to sneak past the Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor, if you look at the color green in the chakra list, in the list of all the chakras and their colors, the green is representative of the heart chakra. The heart. Brother Panic is simply saying you have to tune more into how your true self feels about certain situations or things or people, or just how it feels in general, instead of always being led by the fucking mind. Because, bro, the mind, it is a tool for us to use. We should truly be master of the mind. Yes, indeed. But we are not the mind. And in Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, it shows us why we should be the observers, like what Muji himself says. Because when we become the observers of our thoughts and what it is that that ego is speaking to us, then we start to truly take control of our lives, my brother. Anything as we get back to Panic, bro? Because this to me is just so deep, and this is stuff that newcomers should get into if they really, really want to move past the 3D, if they really want to move beyond the physical realm, straight up, because the all is mind and the universe is mental.
Oh yeah, that's put the icing on the cake with that one. I know cat. But yeah, that's straight facts, bro. Just like taking away that ego and just like being in that present moment is really necessary, to be honest.
I mean, it's just so deep, my brother. It's just so deep. But hey, let's allow Panic to finish this one off.
The kingdom of heaven is right here. Right here. And if you live by this instead of this, your gray matter brain and your thinking and your thought and your reasoning is the demiurge. This is the demiurge, nigga. What you think is deep, Hotepper. How you walking around, how you see all these niggas dropping as soon as I talk. Yeah, fucking, he's the black son and black Jesus. All from here. When it should be, this should be open so this could start to open up. This is the kingdom of heaven. This is the demiurge. So the deeper meaning, I think, of what the Gnostics were talking about ultimately wasn't a person in the sky. They were talking about an aspect of your consciousness that has fallen. But it's supposed to, because to find the kingdom is the goal. That was represented in the movie Coming to America. You were already in the kingdom, but you go to Queens because you want the problem. You brung with you semi-consciousness. Let's just go home. I want a manicure. That's what you say all the time. Fuck that, I want to go home. Fuck that, how do you die and not come back? I want a manicure. That's what you say all the time. Fuck that, I want to go home. Fuck that, how do you die and not come back? I want to see what it means. That's your semi-consciousness. Eddie Murphy knew I had to find the love first. You understand? I have to find the love first before we could go home, Semi. Semi took the money and built a kingdom in that rat-infested home. Before we could go home, Semi. Semi took the money.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on. So the dark entities trying to play games or something, but I'm gonna skip some of this. But
It was literally repeating like that?
Poor.
yeah, it was like some weird stuff going on. I don't know if that was the video or if it, I don't know.
Huh. Well, regardless of the case, most of the message already went out. So I don't know. Let's see if we could finish it off, bro, because yeah, this is so beautiful. It's just so plain and simple. Brother Panic just really knocks it out the park with that one.
I told them my home is very poor. I am what? A goat herder. That's Jesus. He came to save her. He was the Christ. But even if the Christ comes here, which is you, every conscious person is the Christios or the Christ. That's you. So you come, you're here to find your heart or your Lisa or your love and take it back to the kingdom because it's a form of alchemy. He was already there. He was already bored. He had ass wipers. And if you think I'm bullshitting, John Landis did that movie. And John Landis is a fucking occultist, period. Him and Dan Aykroyd are boys. John Landis did a lot of Dan Aykroyd movies. And the other one, who's dead, who was one of the Ghostbusters. Not Dibs, Dan, not Bill Murray, who's not too bad himself in the occult, but the other middle one, the tall guy. He was an occultist, and he's done movie. John Landis was an occultist. John Landis got famous for, well, I don't know if he got famous, but in his fame, he did Thriller with Michael Jackson. An occultist, Egon. There you go. Y'all know it. Harold Ramis. Very good. Harold Ramis.
Well, Dr. Bass, what can I say? I mean, we did this video in our life before, but we come back to it. It's like the information is just fresh and new. You know what I'm saying? It's like it just doesn't get old. And especially living in a profoundly sick society where people are just so caught up in that fucking ego. You know what it is I'm saying, my brother? It's just we have to overcome this. We got to find the love. We got to know that we are the Christ. We got to know that we're here to fulfill a purpose. Once we keep fulfilling each and every bit of that purpose, bro, we don't need to go back to that. We just keep moving forward. You know what it is I'm saying? Because that's exactly, big shout out to Brother Panic. He mentioned it in a video where he was explaining about death, how, yeah, when we ascend from the ego, we ascend from the physical body, we ascend from this physical realm. That's the true virgin birth. Because what happens? We shed off the physical body like you were wearing a jacket. Imagine like Indiana Jones taking off his jacket. Like, yeah, you shed off the physical body, you take off your jacket, and yeah, you move on to the next task. Because, bro, this is what the ancient Kamites were talking about when they say your heart has to be as light as a feather. Every accomplishment that you come to, you literally just let it be. You let that trophy hang on the wall and you go to the next accomplishment. You get a trophy for that, go just look back on the wall, see all of your accomplishments and say, it was a good run. And then you literally have nothing to hold on to because you literally ran the marathon. You literally got to the finish line. You ran the journey. Congrats. You did it. You gotta be as your heart has to be as light as a feather. But bro, man, take it away, Dr. Bass. Like it's some really good stuff. Thank you, Brother Panic, for that one.
Oh yeah, he was definitely speaking some real truth out there because like a lot of people are just too logical. A lot of people just focus on their minds and what not nothing that they truly want, nothing that they truly desire, and they just listen to their mind over matter. They listen to the mind instead of their heart. That's why so many people can be so gullible. So many people can get easily like manipulated and everything like that because they think of it through the mind instead of not trusting their heart. So at this point, you just have to trust your heart instead of your mind at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, going into the next segment of what we're talking about with the ego and whatnot, it's very amazing to me how women, especially when they get into the occult, it's just so easy. It's much easier for them because women, under normal circumstances, are just not as egotistical as men can be. Because with a man, it's all about accomplishment, seeing that what he can accomplish and what he can do and this and that. You know, I mean, he's the breadwinner. he's the initiator. He's the one who literally has to set the foundation. You know what I mean? But for women, it seems to be like more of a walk in the park because for them, they're just not egotistical and whatnot, which is very sad when I look at societies today with this whole patriarchal nonsense being run by egotistical faggot ass bitch boys who literally don't look at women as anything other than the mat that literally has to clean up their feet after a hard days of work. You know what it is I'm saying, my brother? Because this whole patriarchal society thing, oh, it's definitely the work of the demiurge because that is what whole egotistical, nonsensical, that it's a dumpster fire essentially, my brother. Like, and yes, women can get caught up in their ego as well. Yes, when you take a look at the Cardi B's and Nicki Minaj's and whatever dumb motherfucker who I literally have no time to focus on and whatnot because it's just nonsensical and it has nothing to do with me. Don't ask me about oh what this rapper is saying about that rapper and all that nonsense because all of that. I mean, big shout out to Nuwapu. They're literally they've literally caught you just like what Brother Panic said. They've caught people in their ego so much that they have people listening to rap music that is on such a low hertz and low frequency that they literally turning our men into fucking Neanderthals. And just like what I was talking about with this whole patriarchal nonsense, a lot of these young melanated men, bro, they be hanging around with the boys and yeah, always yeah, looking to yeah, like you know what it is I'm saying, bro. It was young Pharaoh who put me onto that a few years ago when I literally started getting into this whole consciousness, spirituality, personal growth journey where he literally mentioned this. And honestly, a lot of these young melanated men, especially, yeah, not taking responsibility, taking care of their children and whatnot. You're so focused on hanging with the boys, yeah. You focused on all that stupid rap bullshit when a lot of these rappers interestingly have come out and said they don't even allow their own children to listen to that garbage that they put out. And you motherfuckers are literally halfway homosexual, halfway gay, literally on the seesaw. You're literally on the fence whether you want to be heterosexual or homosexual. A lot of down low males out here. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Hemmett be speaking about that, but it's interesting because I'll tell you straight up, I don't have nothing against homosexuals, especially if you're an individual who's cool, easy to get along with, and yeah, you're not forcing what you believe or your lifestyle upon anyone. Hey, cool. You do what you want, but the moment you force things upon people, and especially when you get to little children and whatnot, we got a fucking problem right there. But yeah, it's very interesting to me, bro. And as we get to the next video with Bobby Hemmett, matriarch versus patriarch, like you give your own perspective on it, my brother, but a lot of people, especially a lot of melanated people, should be aware of what it is that I'm speaking about, even on a mundane level, because, bro, it is sickening. How is it that gods, great beings, great entities, titans have fallen so low? Like, bro, honestly, the lowest levels, I never even thought that they were this low. You know what I mean? I never would have thought.
Oh, oh yeah, definitely. Like, well, like that LGBT community, that could be like a whole different topic for a whole nother day because that joint goes way deeper than people just assume and everything like that. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, like a lot of people just like brainwash each other. And then like when I saw like someone said this, like women grow up at the age of 18 and then men grow up at the age of 30. Or like they become like who they really want to be when at that age. Because like we look at all these men, right? They all going for like younger women because they don't have real responsibilities. They on the physical level, they're more beautiful than the older women, and then they don't really have that much experiences, or they don't really need as much as like the older women. So that's why women grow up or like become like what quote unquote women at age 18. And then for men, it's like they don't really start becoming like quote unquote men until like the age of 30, because that's when things start to really pick up for themselves and whatnot. So that's why like all these like men usually tend to go after like younger women at the end of the day. But
And you know,
yeah,
it's very interesting, Dr. Bass. Thank you very much for mentioning it. First of all, that's an average because you know for a fact that there are women out here. They could literally be in their freaking 60s and they still believe in that whole Jesus, hallelujah, he's coming at the end of days to come save his people type of bullshit. Like, you know what it is I'm saying, right, bro? And I know that because I live amongst them. I live amongst women who are literally past their 60s who still believe in this Jesus dog shit, my brother. I'm like, as women, y'all used to be the mothers of society. Y'all were literally the necks of society. Y'all were the ones who spiritually guided people to what it is that they should be doing for their own individual lives. Y'all out here thinking that some motherfucker's gonna come from the sky and save you. And even if that motherfucker was real, because of how fucked up your own mind is, because you're not in touch with all of your spiritual centers, your chakras, because everything is so out of balance, you are so out of balance. If he was real, why the fuck would he want to come back for you motherfuckers for? Nah, it don't work like that. But that's just all an average, my brother. And we do know that there are men who tend to mature a lot earlier, especially when they go through spiritual experiences and they awaken spiritually at an earlier age. But again, that's all averages. Although, like I said earlier, it's it's a lot more common for women to truly spiritually awaken because yeah, women are, especially when you talk about the melanated woman, she is just connected to the cosmos like that, which is exactly why they have to continually push the whole religion and tampering with the music and entertainment and all the distractions and all that bullshit because they know that once the women were to all come together and say enough is enough for this fucking system, that's it. Because women are magnetic. Women can literally pull that energy from the higher cosmos, the melanated woman, as well as all other women, which is exactly why these motherfuckers, they do their best to especially attack women. But any additions to that as we get to Bobby's matriarch versus patriarch video, Dr. Bass?
oh nah, I think you said it all. I dare you be killing it, bro.
Man, bro, I'm telling you, yo, much respect and shout outs to True Self because I'm telling you, my brother, we just allowing it to flow. We just moving forward. We just gotta do what we gotta do and to ensure that yeah, as many people as possible really grasp the simplicity of what it is that's being shared. So that's all, Dr. Bass. That's all. That's really the crux of it. That's all it really comes down to.
If you study the Dionysian, there's a book on Dionysus by Walter F. Otto. And
Get
you
that book.
study Dionysus, which is the prototype of Osiris. So you'll get more information on Osiris if you study Dionysus than you will study Osiris. Because the only Osiris we got left to us is the Plutarch Osirian drama, which is a later drama, which basically you don't get a lot of information on Osiris. You figure the whole half dynastic thing is based around Osiris, but yet there's only the same information you get on Osiris is that same old Osiris, that same old drama, the Osirian drama of him dying and Isis, you know, breathing breath in the mouth. Same old tired one. If you want to get more on the Osirian drama, you got to study Dionysus or you got to study Shiva. That is your Osiris.
All
Now,
these
you
entities
study
represent us
Walter
anyway.
F. Otto's book on Dionysus. Dionysus and Dracula is one and the goddamn same. Dionysus got the women around him because he comes from a matriarchal cult. He's the son of the mother. You know, they call
Pause
him
it there quick, Dr.
Leonidas.
Bass.
He's
Dr. Bass, you used to play The Legend of Zelda by any chance?
I heard of the game, but I never really played it before though.
You know what I find to be very interesting, and you could probably do your own research. You could probably do your own research to check it out. But Ganondorf, who is the main villain of many of the old school Legend of Zelda games, Ganondorf He comes from a matriarchal society, which, if I'm not mistaken, every few hundred years a male is born unto them. I'm talking about these are like some big, these are melanated, big, powerful women. And I kid you not, bro. There is even a part where a video was explaining about how Link, the protagonist, how I guess the maker of the video, he was analyzing throughout the different Legend of Zelda games how Link is a fairly handsome young man and how he seems to attract women easily. And one of these women from Ganondorf's matriarchal society literally said Link himself is handsome. I'm talking about a system, my brother. So what Bobby is saying right here is literally an example of how far we have fallen from the glory of matriarchy to this faggot ass. And again, I don't got nothing against homosexuals who don't force anything upon people, but you're talking about a faggot ass bullshit patriarchal society, which thankfully it's collapsing right before our very eyes as it's part of the matrix, which is interesting because the word matrix comes from matrice, Latin for womb. So how is it that nature itself shows us that the woman is the trunk of every species, the female is the trunk of every species, and yet these motherfuckers treat women worse than fucking doormats? It's very, very interesting. But again, even in the Legend of Zelda, Ganondorf, who's supposed to be the bad guy, comes from a matriarchal society. And though I haven't played the Legend of Zelda games, and anyone who knows about the lore, especially where Ganondorf is concerned, they're welcome to, yeah, well, by the time this video is uploaded on YouTube or whatever other platform, yeah, that you share it on, upload it on, Dr. Bass, they're welcome to explain just how Ganondorf's motives and goals are centered around trying to not just take over the world for his own gain, but to literally expand his own matriarchal society. You know what I mean? Because Ganondorf, I literally remember hearing back then, he was the only male living amongst that society of females. Very interesting and related to see how they hide the truth in fiction, my brother, in a video game series of all places. Very interesting. Let's get back to Bobby, bro.
Connected to the world of the dead. He's connected to the world of the women. He makes the women go crazy in frenzies, these male eyes. Dracula did the same thing with Lucy and them. All it is Bram Stoker had a Dionysian mythological dream and recorded that shit again. Well, somebody asked this question: how did all this knowledge get down here anyway? Was this knowledge taken in tablets and brought on spaceships down here, or was this knowledge channeled? The priest used to channel his knowledge. So if a doggone knowledge was legitimate, that the priest channeled 2,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago that set up for the criteria of what we call scholarship, why the fuck you can't get a Channel 9 and be accurate? See what I'm saying? And be accurate. You see what I'm saying? It's like, this is a motherfucker right here. It's like Oshun, which is a feminine deity, had to hook up with the one named Otintia, one of the ones up in here, another feminine entity. And I told them, I said, what y'all motherfuckers did last night? They said, oh, we did that touchy-feely thing.
That sounds like Shango, too.
Yeah, but listen to this, no. Oshun, which is the archetype of the divine feminine, and Otintia, which is another form of the archetype of the divine feminine. This August, when I was divining to them, I said, what the fuck did y'all do last night when y'all was guarding my mouth? I said, oh, we occupied ourselves by doing that touch-feel-it thing. You hear what I said? That goddess thing. They licked on some clits. Boy, this world
Pause it real quick, Dr. Bass.
it goes beyond some shit you think it is.
You know, it's very interesting because this could definitely, what Bobby is explaining there, could definitely explain why two women, especially two attractive women together, would never look as bad as two men together, for lack of a better explanation. You know what it is I'm saying, Dr. Bass? Because if you really, we're talking about energies. We're talking about energies. Instead of always looking at things from a human perspective, look at it in energies. And yet still, you could watch porn or anything like that, bro. Two attractive women together is hardly ever a turn off. It's very interesting how um the Kabbalion already said it, as above, so below. And but it's an old occult, axiom, as above, so below, so within, so without. Two attractive women together, or two women together in general, would never look as bad because women are the trunk of every species, be it human or animal. There are females within some animal species that literally give birth to their own children. And human women are capable of doing the same thing if they were to tap back in to the masculine half of their being, as well as if men were to tap back into the feminine half of their being, and they would become hermaphrodites, for want of a better term. If we were to tap back into our true being, then even physically we would be transformed into something greater, because mythologies show us, speak about how, yeah, even in the Bible, it shows you how the original man was a perfect blend of masculine and feminine before, just like a pair of scissors got taken, like got separated in half. It's like woman today is literally one half of a pair of scissors. You know what I'm saying, Dr. Bass? Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm very glad Bobby mentions this because, bro, it goes deep.
Yeah, that's straight facts because like no one really kills if two women are being seen being together, or some people really think it's like sexy and stuff like that. But when they see two men together, it's like, oh yeah,
All hell
that's
breaks
pretty
loose.
weird. It's like yeah, it's
I'm
like
telling you, end of the world type of shit and whatnot. And I read a book. Fun fact, I read a book. Get that book, The Akan, Sirius, and no, The Akan, Sirius and other African, no, The Akan, other African tribes, and the Sirius star system. Yeah, that's the name of the book. The Akan, other African tribes, and the Sirius star system. There's a priest from a particular nation somewhere there in Africa where that priest was being interviewed, and he said in some of these societies, and you have like some of these priests, because instead of here in the Western world, but fun fact, Hilton Hotema, get Hilton Hotema's book, Awaken the World Within. Awaken the World Within, because in that book he explains about how he gives an explanation of another topic that he touched on, a two-part series of his, uh the Secrets of Regeneration. Yes, Hilton Hotema, another good individual to get his books, because he already touched on a lot of occult topics that we are discussing right now. Uh, in that book he explains how but first in the Akan book, the priest was explaining about how in their societies, homosexuals would literally not even be looked at as a negative thing. I mean, or rather, something undesirable or unfavorable. In fact, to these homosexuals, when they literally take up spiritual functions, they take up spiritual responsibilities as priests and whatnot, especially when they get down to having sex. It is said that in the book, two men together, believe it or not, could create a magnetic energy surge. And we know that men are mostly electric energy. I find that to be very interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, the priest himself mentioned about how when two women come together, they create electric energy. We're talking about energy, frequency, and vibration, the languages of the universe, my brother. And Hilton Hotema mentioned in his book Awaken the World Within, if if homosexuality in men is so looked down upon, but then again, when you remember, as he already proved in his books, and many other books prove this, And Andre von Leisbeth explains in his book Tantra, The Cult of the Divine Feminine, man is a modified woman. Hilton Hotima mentioned in his book, his two-part book, The Secrets of Regeneration, how man, he even went as far as to say man is a defect woman, because even the woman herself is defect, as she's not tapped into her masculine energy as she should be. Man is even more defect because he can't give birth. He can't nourish a child for 9 months within him as a woman can. So man is even more defect, while woman herself is already defect, but she's still closer to the original bisexual being. You know what I mean? But yet still, it's interesting. Hilton Holtima mentioned how homosexuals, if that's the case, if their desire for the same sex comes from that atavistic ancestral uh root, if it ties back to that origin, then that means the homosexuals of today should be pioneers, because they're literally only looking to tap back in to what nature itself knows is the how can I say, the de facto function of every species, for want of a better term. But you see how deep I went there, my brother? I didn't even look to go that deep, and you see how deep I went there, Dr. Bass? Jeez.
Yeah, there's some straight deep knowledge out here in the streets. Like, for real, it's only for people who really are open, who are open-minded to receive. Because if you're closed-minded, you just deflect, neglect, and just won't accept the message for what it is.
And you know what, Dr. Bass? That's fine, because even the Kabbalion itself said that, yeah, this is exactly why even the Jesus character himself mentioned you cannot throw pearls before swine. And I don't want to call motherfuckers swine, but then again, you got people who act lower than fucking animals in this society anyway. And it pains me to see that it's so many. But, bro, that's them. That's totally on them, because everybody has their own decisions to make at the end of the day. Let's get back to Bobby, brother.
Is. But then again, they're outside of the physical, so they ain't dealing with the same gender shit you dealing with. Transference of energy. You see, transference of energy. Then we have
Bingo.
to ask the question, why is it that the Matrix, this is all very good shit here now. Why is it that the Matrix put out a whole book, what's that, Matrix 5, talking shit about the feminine principle, and talking about how the earth, the people who seeded this planet, this is just an article, but you can get it out of the Matrix 5 book, the new Matrix 5, that Val Valerian book, talking shit about the damn Syrians who seeded the planet was these feminine Syrians, and they was talking shit about them, call them negative Syrians. Which we got to ask this question here. Now, this is one of the great mysteries here. This busts up all your little old patriarchal Hebrew, getting fucked up their ass by that matriarchal bullshit, Rastafarian, Islam, and all that old male-dominated bullshit. This busts up all that old organized homosexuality is what that shit is, where you just love a man to death, and the goddamn woman ain't nothing but an obedient motherfucker to her man. That old faggot shit. Some old Abraham and these old slewfoot bastards, all that old crazy old stuff here where you just think these motherfuckers just in love with themselves. Well, there's a goddamn woman in this shit. God, fucking Adam, Abraham getting fucked by God and Adam, and all these old goddamn males. Noah, 4,000 damn years old, Methuselah ass. All this shit here, and not a goddamn woman doing shit, but cooking some motherfucking damn bread and being obedient. Fuck that old faggot ass Islam, Christianity, and Judaism bullshit. Then you understand why the motherfuckers in Islam say it is better, the motherfucking white Arab in Islam say it is better to stick my dick up a man's ass than to be with a woman. What the motherfuckers say right there in damn Arabia. It is better to put my dick and do dookie love than to be with the real deal love.
Pause it there quick, Dr. Bass.
Dookie love cults.
And you know, While Bobby is always as hilarious as he is on point with his message, bro, it is sad. I mean, it is just fucking sad. I be remembering when I was reading the Bible, I'm like, but holy shit, what the fuck are these women doing? They're hardly doing anything. These fucking religions, right? They make sure that they don't just like how I already shared with you how Hilton Hotima, as well as Walter F. Otto, as well as Andre van Leisbeth, as well as many other individuals who have either written about it or have made videos or audios about it, explaining about how in ancient real Merkaba, he himself spoke about it, how in ancient times in that book, get that book from Val Valerian, like Bobby Emmett said, Matrix 5, from Val Valerian. Dr. Mumbi mentioned, because remember there's a part in the Bible that says how the sons of God literally mingled with the daughters of men and whatnot. Remember, this was a predominantly feminine planet. This planet, the more I look at it, this realm was mostly run by females. Where the males came from, that's probably a whole topic that you're just going to have to get from different resources. Suffice it to say, bro, this was a predominantly feminine, female run planet. How the fuck did things fall from those glory days to the monkey shit that we see right now that is finally falling in and of itself? Very interesting, but yeah, Dr. Bass, based off of everything that Bobby just said right there, any last words before we get back to him?
Yeah, as like people can see, like everything is in reverse. Like women really was the ones who was wanting this planet, and then in their Bible, men was wanting the planet, and the women wasn't doing anything. So of course, people who believe in that type of stuff will look at women just not doing anything. That's why they got housewives and everything like that. And then that's why so many men and even some women are so traditional because they be like, oh yeah, the woman needs to cook, they need to clean, they gotta do this, they gotta do that, while the men gotta work, gotta work, gotta work. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a program at this point. And then like even if we look at the word matriarch, right? What's the first five letters? Matri. What's the first five letters in Matrix?
Matri, matri, which is literally Latin for womb. Nature values the female far more than the male. The male is only there to make sure that the species does not go fully extinct.
Yeah, definitely. Like even with like the word Matrix, that's the first five letters as well. So it's like you can see the siblings.
Dr. Bass, it goes so deep. And big shout out to Bobby for mentioning it. Mentioning it, he even said Rastafari and whatnot. Bro, these are predominantly like what he said, especially when you be watching these professional sports. The good thing I mentioned that. Thank you for bringing me to that point, Dr. Bass. These professional sports and whatnot. That's some faggot ass dog shit, my brother. Like what the fuck, man? Why the hell you motherfuckers so focused on male dominated shit? I kid you not, even young Pharaoh himself used to make a lot of lectures and whatnot explaining about how back in ancient Greece and whatnot, it got so bad for the women to the point where the women had to literally flee because these men were out of hand, how much they hated the women, my brother. It was just so, but look, let me be real. So-called Caucasians, so-called white people, because Arabs, the so-called uh Caucasian looking Arabs that are over there today. Because remember, the whole in the ancient world, all of the world was melanated beings, straight up. Because the modern Arabs today are nothing more just tan skin Caucasian motherfuckers, straight up. So when you look at it, when you go to Greece and whatnot, you're talking about so-called white men. It's no wonder why so-called white men continually treat their women like shit. And now they want these Neanderthal, low-level, counterfeit spirit nigger asses want to do the same thing with their women when even in pre classical Olympian Greek societies, the original creator within the Pelasgian mythology was a woman. And ain't no people on the face of this realm ever gave more reverence to the woman, aka the melanated woman, than niggas, than melanated people. So you know that these mythologies that place women in high important functions, you know that it was all us. But you know it was all us because the entire ancient world was literally niggas, my brother, was literally melanated god beings to show you how far we have fallen. And it's only now we're literally getting back to where it was that we were and looking to go beyond that. Because why not? Hey, be better than even how you were when you were in your glory days, right? Straight up. But bro, all of this is some faggot ass, male loving, male dominated dog shit. I'm tired of this fucking society. I never grew up. You never grew up in a matriarchal society. I didn't grow up in a matriarchal society. We can definitely say, as beings who grew up in a patriarchal society, it's all dog shit. Bring it all to an end. Bring it all to a fucking end. I hate patriarchy. It's nonsense. It's fucking dog shit. Bring the women back into power. Bring the women back into power. Continue, Dr. Bass.
That patriarchal bullshit. That's right. All your old, all that stuff, that's the shit that's dying. That's why little fuck boys in the Catholic Church. That's why that shit is being revealed. Huh? Huh? That it was a feminine, it was three feminine goddesses before Belial turned that shit into that one masculine goddess. The word Al, which is son, Horus, and Lab, which is mother. Mother, son is called Satis. Sa, which is the feminine aspect, and Is, no. Sa, which is the masculine, Sahu, and Is, which is Isis, Aset. Satis is mother and son. Allah, mother and son. You see what I'm saying? And the son is nothing but the clitoris. It turns into a penis or stays into that little primordial black dot. Oh, the real black dot, right there. That's the real motherfucking black dot. Real black dot. Think so? How many nerve endings that motherfucker got? You think that shit ain't powerful? How many nerve endings that shit got? How many nerve endings that shit got? Thousands.
All nerve endings.
Black dot, press on that motherfucking button. They talking about pressing the button. You put your hand on the button like they say, oh, I got the president. I got a little suitcase and got the damn, my finger on the button. No, this the real button right here. Now that's what your boy said. The one fucking the wheelchair, that's the astrophysicist. Hawkins. The white man said there is no end to the universe. Hawkins said that's bullshit. There's an end to the universe, and it's one small primordial point. Right there. Right there. Right there. That's right. As long as I got a face, you got a place to sit. That's it. That's a must.
Well, Dr. Bass, like I said, Bobby, he's bringing the facts as much as he's bringing the comedy. Like you gotta appreciate it because I too never stopped and maybe I overlooked it reading certain books such as Andre van Lisbeth's Tantra, Cult of the Divine Feminine. Get that book. Get that book. In that book, he really the title of the book alone gives it away. Tantra, Cult of the Divine Feminine. When you talk about what do you call those practices? What do you call those practices? Well, not so much semen retention. Not so much well, I guess semen retention is part of it, but
oh, you're talking about like no fab or something too?
Kind of no fap, but not quite. Okay. Um. Uh. When you reach that point where you reach, okay, you could say no fap and semen retention is part of it because all these practices, no, okay, tantra, and all of these sexual practices. These were practices. When you read Monica Shaw and Barbara Moore's book, get that book, The Great Cosmic Mother. Um, they explain in that book how these practices were practices because women were here much longer, even after we had fallen from the original bisexual beings. Um, these sexual practices were created by women, originally for women. It was when men started to come around. That's when the women would initiate them, just like how they would in the mystery schools and whatnot. It's not like all these bullshit religions, yeah, that just teach you hallelujah, praise Jesus, monkey ass. And again, if he was real, he wouldn't come back for any of you motherfuckers. So it's a heavily lopsided relationship when you really look at it. Um, so yeah, these were practices that were created by women for women. Like I said, Dr. Bass, we did not grow up in a matriarchy. We don't know what it's like to have been raised by women, at least not to the degree of people from back then, unless you were to tap into your past lifetimes and maybe even tap back into when you incarnated as a woman at one point. But suffice it to say, my brother, these are things that people should be getting into. Like what Bobby Hemmett said in another video I watched from him. Just imagine if every melanated man and woman had to literally be having sex, had to be tapping into those masculine and feminine energies, even having sex out in public and whatnot. Yo, these fucking crackers, these motherfuckers would be terrified off out their boots, my brother, because they know that's literally creating energy which they can't stop, my brother, because it is literally said. I read somewhere when you have an orgasm, that literally is letting out a bunch of energy, just like what the goddamn fucking Hadron Collider up in CERN is literally lets out. Could you literally fathom that? Could you stop and think about that? And big shout out to Bobby Hemmett for mentioning that because I didn't even really, like I said, I didn't even really stop to think of how a woman's clitoris, despite as small as it is, it's very powerful. But then again, you should remember the dog from the first Men in Black movie. You humans thinking that everything that is of significance and powerful has to be of a big size. It's not. The clitoris in and of itself, just as an example, because when you talk about the black dot, when you talk about the pineal gland, though it is very small, it is very powerful. The pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, though these glands are small, they're very powerful. It's true. Not everything that is of great power comes in big sizes. And man, bro, yo, just I get back to you, Dr. Bass. Just let the people know what it is that Bobby just shared right there because some good stuff as always as we get to the next video where he explains how unfortunately the reason why we cannot advance as melanated beings is because you got a bunch of counterfeit coon ass housewife, no, well, I guess housewife, house niggas, house slaves that continually we don't even need to worry about the fucking cracker as we got a bunch of coon dog shit motherfuckers among us that need to be dealt with. But ending what Bobby himself just shared in that really good video, which by the way I should let people know, a lot of these videos usually you can get links to other sites and sources to which you could get longer lectures and whatnot from Bobby and all these other brethren who have laid out the work. But yeah, Dr. Bass, based off of what Bobby shared, yeah, any additions, any additional thoughts?
Yeah, I would say like even when people see other people walking around naked in public and whatnot, people don't know what to do or what to think, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it really just brings out that energy of other people that they just don't know what to, what to do or think. So it's like it will bring out that energy when you step into like that authentic self and whatnot. And like to be honest, like back in the day, we used to always walk around naked. We didn't really even have clothes and everything like that. So it's like we just really see how like society has switched and everything like that. But
Western
yeah,
society, my brother. Western society. Western society really got people all fucked up. Because let me tell you something. You go up in Africa today, You go up in that area today, you're gonna see many of these women in these nations bare breasted, and they're walking around in full glory. Because to begin with, in that extremely hot weather, who the fuck has time to wear any goddamn clothes on? And Bobby explained in past lectures about, if you notice, especially when you get into the occult, but you probably could even read books from Aleister Crowley, Lon Milo Duquette, Christopher S. Hyatt, them, how they explain how during these rituals and whatnot, they're naked. They're fucking naked, my brother. And especially when you go out in nature, where you come across these Wiccans and these priestesses and whatnot, bro, they're literally butt naked, because clothes serve as a hindrance for you to receive as well as let go, or rather shoot out certain energies. So Western society, and big shout out to young Pharaoh, Western psychology, Western society is one of the worst fucking things, or some of the worst things to ever press down on the human consciousness, my brother. I'm telling you, it is just so fucked up. It is weird how Dr. Ben, shout out to Dr. Joseph Ben Yochanan, how ancient Kemet in and of itself is literally the grandmother of Western civilization, and yet they took the concept, went into Greece and whatnot, and they literally twisted it and turned it into this patriarchal piece of dog shit. Again, we may not know what it's like to live in a matriarchal society, but who knows? Even based off what Dr. Mumbi herself is saying, bro, maybe we may even see it in our very own lifetimes, in our very own experiences here. Who knows? I fucking look forward to it for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like clothes are stagnant energy and it just blocks the flow of everything too.
It's like, I'm telling you, my brother, I'm telling you, it's just some deep stuff. Like, may the women take their power back. May the magnetic, divine feminine energy literally take over again, because the divine masculine will always be there, because we literally already have that balance. But it's time to get back to that balance. You know what it is I'm saying? But like I was saying before, we got a lot of cool niggas among us, because we don't even need the cracker to try to do anything, because we got a lot of piece of shit cool niggas, house slaves, who are there always stopping what it is, whatever progress that we're trying to make, always going to the fucking cracker. These motherfuckers who run this damn society. And like you said, these motherfuckers don't even give a damn about people who look like them, because for them it's all collateral damage and doing whatever it takes to ensure that they fulfill their goals for a fucking prison planet. But as we get to the video now, Dr. Bass, counterfeit spirits, false, lying, conniving, cockroach entities. I don't say snake, because the snake is a very beautiful, amazing creature that literally has its significance in nature and in spiritual symbology. But bro, as we get to the video, allow Bobby to explain just why these counterfeit spirits, they're among us, they're not gone, and why they definitely need to be uh taken care of in order for Mayat, that is the true cosmic balance, to literally take place. Yeah, it's some good stuff so far, my brother. I didn't even think that it would be this good thus far. You know, I mean, like, yeah, the information is just flowing. We're just literally letting things flow as things go along. You know.
Yeah, it's already a good one out here in these streets.
Yeah, I mean, not bad after what, more than a month or something.
Ultimately, of unraveling from the social, the political, and all of these things fall off to the spiritual. Then the spiritual unraveling itself out of moralism and into science, and science unraveling itself off into the core of it. We ultimately find the ultimate solution, that this thing goes far beyond even race, because when this was put in place, the white man wasn't even on the doggone planet. And this was a group of black people that was under the behest of the cosmic archons. And they called them counterfeit spirits. So so the original counterfeit spirits, let me give you the example.
Okay.
When the cosmic abortion and all this went along, not only did the Great Mother try to correct it, when these particular spirits were trapped down in this particular aspect of this debauchery, ultimately they knew that those spirits, by them coming from the source of the divine, they would be the cleanup factor. So when the debauchery itself found out that in actuality that the spirits that it trapped would ultimately be greater than it created counterfeit spirits to come in and confuse the situation. So when the grand man or the grand pristine superior deity came in to clean up this stuff, which would be the origin of who we are, they also created a group of counterfeit spirits that will always be antagonistic with those so-called true indestructible spirits. And this element of antagonism will go back and forth at first with people that look the same, but they're separated from a single essence. One is the true spirit and one is the counterfeit. And later on, out of those counterfeit spirits, they would create another agent, which would be the white man. So when you ask the question, well, if black people created the white man, shouldn't they be responsible? And they can't, the white man can't be blamed. Right. But what you don't understand, the white man was created by those counterfeit spirits.
Wow.
That the gods was pulling the strings to make those counterfeit spirits, these scientists,
So black people
create this white man.
So black people, is that to say black people didn't have anything to do with it?
No, you're not listening. You got two people. You got two people. You got an original spirit that comes from the source of the Great Mother beyond the debauchery. Then you have the debauchery that creates its counterfeit spirit, to confuse the spirits, the spirits to do its evil work in maintaining the debauchery with these counterfeit spirits. But both of them look the same. They're all black. And those particular black ones, this counterfeit spirits, would later on result in creating the white man, who would be the modern counterfeit spirit.
Yeah, I got you.
But the original counterfeit spirits were black, which leads to this question that I have held back for over 10 years of putting forth, that we put forth now.
Dr. Bass, just pause it there quick, please.
Some of those counterfeit spirits.
Yeah, based off of the matriarch versus patriarch video that we just got off of, I was just doing the research, and yeah, Ganondorf's race, they're called the Gerudo. They are a race of human warrior thieves that are indigenous to the harsh Gerudo desert that bears their name. Gerudo physical traits include scarlet hair, aquiline noses, gold or green eyes, round or pointed ears, and bronzed skin. It's interesting because in the Bible, it literally says that Jesus' feet are literally like brass or something like that. It's interesting because that would mean to tell me that the actual Yeshua or whatever his name was, who did exist 2,000 years ago or whatever period it was, he was a nigger. And it makes sense because how is it that a so-called Caucasian white man could have possibly been born in those fucking areas without looking like a tomato before literally getting scorched from the sun. Like, but anyway, yeah, like the Amazons, the race consists entirely of women. The kind of shit that I would like to experience, but again, who knows? Maybe we're gonna experience that sooner than anticipated. Who knows? Apart from a single Gerudo male who is born every century. You see how they hide the truth in video games, Dr. Bass? You see how they hide the truth in media entertainment? It's just amazing. The male is lawfully crowned king of the tribe and is even worshipped like a god king. When there is no male present to be king, leadership is entrusted to female chiefs. Ganondorf, the main antagonist of the series, is king of the Gerudo. The Gerudo appear as pirates in Majora's Mask, where they live in the ocean and Great Bay. In the Breath of the Wild, they are traders and merchants. Yeah, different games tell their own story and whatnot. As men are not permitted into Gerudo Town, Link has to cross-dress as a female to enter. Which again, this ties back to the video that we just came off of. But you see how they hide the truth in video games, Dr. Bass? You see how these motherfuckers literally got us thinking how what essentially they're making us think that the things that they put in fiction is false, when in reality the falsehood comes from the fake artificial lifestyle that they got motherfuckers living. But the truth they be hiding in fiction, and they do it so cleverly, those motherfuckers. And and going to what Bobby himself is saying there, bro, that is exactly why we cannot advance as a melanated nation, because all of these counterfeit spirits, they may look like you, but that's the deception of being in these human bodies, because unless you raise yourself vibrationally and spiritually to sense energies, bro, you're going to often be fooled by just how a motherfucker comes in. You got to read the energies. You got to feel the energy. Heck, Dr. Mumbi went as far as to say, and if you really stop and think about it, it makes sense. Animals, you literally have animals like cats and dogs with great sense of smell. They could even smell when something is not right. And guess what? All these energies are within us, my brother. So based off of both topics, yeah, definitely let the people know what it is as we get back to Bobby, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like the truth is just out there, and just it's all about like if people really are tapping into that frequency, because it's like it's all a hero's journey. Like we all have our own journey, we have our own story, and like with any hero out there, like go through this different sets of challenges, darkness, and different things that helps you realign with your purpose so you can reach that light or just reach that highest level of your higher self or your true self, so you can just be in that blissful state. So it's all like a hero's journey at the end of the day.
And it's amazing, Dr. Bass. The first few things that come to mind are the mythological characters of Vishnu when he takes the role of Krishna. You think about Jesus himself. You think about Heru, who Jesus is based off of. You think about Asar, who literally, despite dying, he literally is resuscitated by his sister wife Osset and becomes Lord of the Underworld. You think about Tammuz. You think about Mithra. You think about all of these great mythological characters who literally went through the hero's journey. And if you read David Adam Leeming's book, Mythology, The Voyage of the Hero, actually, he has two books, Mythology, Voyage of the Hero, and The World of Myth. Yeah, David Adam Leemings. Yeah, get those two books, because mythology speaks about our current situation on why we should raise ourselves back to our true godly, multidimensional, cosmic, universal nature. That's what their story is talking about. That's what Superman's story is talking about. That's what Batman's story is talking about. That's what Spider-Man's story is talking about. Bro, the list bro, the list goes on and on and on, and they hide the truth in plain sight.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, let's get back to Bobby, brother, because it goes deep. It goes deep.
Spirits still in existence.
my question. That was my next question.
Well, I'm going to break it down right now, and it's going to be unpopular. It's going to be very unpopular. But I will say this. If they are in existence, most of them still resides in Africa. Do the math.
That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Out of Egypt I will call my son. We will sift out the right particles. They say this cosmic drama is like a fisherman fishing in the ocean. Some fish that are right are ripe are pulled out. The other ones that are not are thrown back in. You see what I'm saying? Some people that look like us are not of us.
Right.
That's the great mystery. But I do know one thing. These texts that are fundamentally African, that talk about these counterfeit spirits, the dates and the time that they said the counterfeit spirits came, which was shortly after creation, the white man wasn't even on the planet.
Nowhere around.
It had to be two kind of Africans.
So then they got, like you said, made.
And the ones based on the Osirian drama, which means the Great Westerner, that would be the ripe one. So when you get the word righteous, it means ripe. To be the ripe one would end up in the West. Because the Camite texts say it would be the Westerner that would establish Mayat. Well, Mayat is not just some physical laws and order that the courtroom and judicial system is made out of. It is the very essence of putting back right.
Cosmic balance.
It's called the Tikkun in Kabbalah. It's called Mayat in Kemet. And basically it means transmutation, transformation. It's an alchemical process of fermentation. That's why Jesus said, I am of the wine. Dionysus is of the wine. Osiris is of the wine. And it has to sift out a new product from the original. That's what alchemy is, taking something original and making something new out of it. But those new souls had to be sifted out of or called out of a confusion of counterfeit spirits. Some of those left behind. And then you understand why we don't seem to be of a certain people that we were all in the same origin of at one time. You know what I'm saying? So it's some powerful shit. You know what I'm saying? But this ain't about no popularity contest. We urge people to study.
When you look at the world stage and how it's set up, Switzerland is the only country that's not been involved
There with
in
Dr. Bass.
wars in the last 200 years.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting because Rod Hayes, a sister, literally sent a video with this very same brother not long ago, where he revisits this video from Bobby. This video where he and Bobby are speaking about these counterfeit spirits and whatnot. He literally has a video that he did with another brother, I think it was, where he breaks down in the video how him and Bobby were explaining both of the points that they had given in this video. Like, definitely worthy stuff that people should research and talk about. But Rod Hayes, that's another good brother. He just be on a channel called Black Magic 363 on YouTube. I believe there's a brother who literally has that YouTube channel. Go check it out. Yeah, I'm just giving all the brethren the love that they deserve, because, like, yeah, there are beings who are definitely getting into the occult, who are far more qualified than even you and I. And by all means, people should literally, yes, all people, not just melanated people, all people should flock to them, because even though melanated people have all the mechanisms, the melanin and the kundalini and all of that stuff, all other people, they still have traces and aspects of these mechanisms as well. So they could also tap into the spiritual realm. But it's about time that we literally see past the physical bodies and literally establish that cosmic universal balance. You know what it is I'm saying, my brother? Because I'm tired of this fucking society. And it's about time that it not only just ate shit, that it literally went to shit and literally just vanish into the abyss forever.
Oh, yeah, that's straight up fast because it's time to really forget about this society and just like move to bliss and move to where your heart is telling you to go to, because your intuition would never lead you astray at that point.
And you know, just before we started the recording, Dr. Bass, just as I already told you, yo, it doesn't matter whether what you accomplish and whatnot, because big shout out to young Pharaoh. Accomplishments should literally be your own and your own to enjoy. And I'm telling you, when you do what your heart leads you to do, instead of always focusing on the damn mind like as if it's some bullshit puppet master or some fuck, bro, I'm telling you, you be led by your heart, you can never be led astray. Straight up. And I am literally starting to feel and see what it is, my brother. And the best is yet to come. The universe, source, and true self guide us the way through, my brother. Let's get back to Rod to end this one.
For years. The question is, who the fuck live in Switzerland where they can stay war free during a world war that's all around their borders? Okay, so the people that controlled the Bush family, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, they all live in Switzerland. They look like us. But they live in Switzerland, and that's why there's no
You heard that?
war in Switzerland.
You heard that?
They finance both sides of the war. They don't give a damn. As long as y'all kill each other, we don't care.
You heard that, Dr. Bass? You heard that?
Yep. And the more of each other we kill, the happier they get, because they are on a mission to take over the earth using military strategy. Yeah. Well, you think about this. It's 8.4 billion people on the planet. Probably about 7.8 by now, because they've been drastically reducing the population since the scamdemic came about. But
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
number of people, you can't micromanage that many people. So what do? You preoccupy them with war, misery, and bloodshed. They become docile like sheep and easy to control. Yeah, yeah. And most of the people, because most of the complaining people don't even know that, one, that's not your government. It's a foreign body politic operating in a de facto capacity on your property.
Whew. Man, Dr. Bass, I really want to get to Sister Myra to really end this one because, man, I'm telling you, yo, bro, I love how True Self is literally just guiding us and literally just sharing the good stuff. And we already covered different topics right here, whether you're talking about the ego being your worst enemy, which it is, but then you get to matriarchy and patriarchy, which is all part of it. Like, um, yeah, you get this egotistical, male loving, patriarchal, faggot ass piece of shit system. And then when you get to counterfeit spirits, which all perfectly lines up with it, counterfeit spirits, which are the reason why this bullshit was even able to go on for so long. Like Dr. Bass, like based off of what Bobby and Brother Rod shared, like give your take on it, my brother, because of course the host is definitely king.
Oh nah, we both killing it though. Yeah, what they were saying is straight facts, because at this point, you know what is governmental, you know what I'm saying? So you just need to control and govern your own self, because at this point you just walk around and so many people are like not even governing themselves. Other people are governing themselves. Like other people, they're not even writing their story. Yeah, they're getting influenced by other people. So at this point, a lot of people don't really have souls. I know a lot of people saying, oh, you can't sell your soul and all this other stuff. But like at this point, you just gotta see the what would you call a clone? What would you call a robot who has no soul? And we already know people are getting cloned, people are getting body snatched, people are just getting turning into robots at this point. So that means they're losing their soul. So at this point, it's just straight facts at this point. So we just gotta watch who out here, because we might think they're just human because they're quote unquote in a human physical body, but in actuality, they might be a robot, they might be a clone, they might be a vampire, they might be a, all these other stuff. So we just gotta be aware and
And
read the energy.
oh, definitely, Dr. Bass. And as you're literally setting up Sister Myra's video, short video, Return of Saturn, which is very important for us because Bobby Hemmett himself already explained, and even several books are out there explaining how Saturn is literally the black planet, the melanated planet. Norman Bergrun, I think it was, a guy who used to work with NASA, he literally said years ago, when he was still working with NASA, he remembered seeing tall, melanated beings on the rings of Saturn. This is a so-called white man telling us this stuff. The video could probably still be found on YouTube if you're lucky enough to still see it there. Like, it's amazing to me. Everywhere you go in the universe, you find melanated beings. Yet you come here on this realm and you find these non-melanated beings. So it definitely shows you, yeah, just how awkward and weird things have gotten, especially where genetics are concerned in this realm. But like you were saying, my brother, do remember one thing, especially people living in bigger countries, it's even more fucked up because with cities and whatnot, you really need to be aware of what you're dealing with is even a human to begin with. Although it is literally said, Dr. Mumbi said so, and if I'm not mistaken, you could even find find it in the Bible somewhere. I think the Jesus character himself mentioned about how be aware of who it is you're dealing with because sometimes you could be entertaining angels and you don't even know. Not everyone you see is human or a clone or a robot. You could literally be dealing with higher level spiritual beings who have incarnated for one purpose or another in this physical realm. The shit goes so deep, Dr. Bass. It goes so deep. So any any addition on that as we look to wrap this up, starting with Sister Myra's video, bro?
Oh yeah, and just look at all these celebrities and politicians and everything like that. You remember how like everyone was saying, "Oh, Jamie Foxx got cloned," and then what movie he just starred in cloned? They cloned Tyrone. It's like nah, it just makes perfect sense at this point. But like we
Bro,
all
at,
know,
at this point, they're not even fucking hiding it anymore. It's only the conscious people they're really speaking to at this point. The robot sheep and zombies, yeah, they're dead no matter what anyway. So like, there's nothing, there's nothing we could do, nothing we could do about them, my brother. Nothing we could do about them. Nothing we can do for them.
Now we're in the time, of Christianity. We're talking Jesus, which I've identified as none other than Zeus. I mean, if you write down the words Jesus and Zeus, you'll see the similarity. Okay, and what is happening is that we have been programmed to turn toward Jesus or Zeus and turn against Satan, who actually represents Saturn, okay, which was actually the first son of the Great Mother. Okay, Saturn is actually the father energy of the Earth. See, it's the creator of the Earth. So we look at Saturn as the father of the Earth. Okay, so if we're being the children of the Earth, and they're turning us against Satan, who is really Saturn, and you can understand what type of illusionary ploy is going on here, and turning us toward Jesus or Zeus, which is the God, which is their God, which is their God, the God of material abundance. See, and what it is that we're being programmed to fight against anything that's coming up to destroy this civilization, okay, which is an
Destroy it.
evil, wicked
Kill it.
civilization. There's
Fuck
no
this
fixing
civilization.
this. There's no patching. You know, this has to go. The earth is in what we call a regeneration phase, a transformation time, when the old must die out so that the new may be reborn at a higher level. So we should be cheering on the apocalypse, okay? We're the ones that should be bringing that on, to activate those forces that are prominent right now to do your bidding. See, this is what you have to do. You have to understand that those hunches, those intuitions, those that information, that Pandora's box, those mystical, those occult things, all those things that they have tried to turn us against are the things that will empower us. And that's the reason why we have been turned against it, you see. This physical world is definitely going down. It's going out, you know. And if you want to put your, if you want to invest in that, you know, your time is limited. You're not going to have very much time left to enjoy that, you know. And the reason why, and I say that the ones that are suffering the most right now are the ones that Spirit is trying to move out of the way, you know, because they know this thing is coming down in a big way. And if you've moved on and you've discovered your powers, when it falls down, you don't even have to look back. You don't even have to look back because you already know, you know, that that isn't about you anyway. That's in opposition to where you're going. You know, we want the apocalypse. We want to cheer it on. We want to contribute to that. Every time, I know they must think I'm crazy. Me and my daughter-in-law, every time a catastrophe happened, we were on the phone laughing our heads off. You know? Did you hear about the airplane that
I just had to say this, like even for me, like I'd be like I'd be hearing like, oh yeah, like a tornado just hit and just like this and that hit. I'm in my head, I'm just like, yo, let's go. Like it's like the
Yeah, Dr.
collapse is
Bab.
coming up, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yo, whether it be tornadoes, whether it be hurricanes. I mean, yes, it is unfortunate that whatever innocent lives got caught up in these things. It is unfortunate. However, if Adolf Hitler, Napoleon Bonaparte, Mao Zedong, who else? Benito Mussolini, as well as all of these other motherfuckers, but particularly the ones like Hitler and Napoleon who killed millions of people who look like them. If there's an Genghis Khan who killed millions of motherfuckers who look like himself. If there's anything that history already indicates and points to, is that the masses were only ever good for one thing: getting slaughtered. It is sad, and much condolences to all those who have lost their loved ones. However, nature in and of itself is doing them a great favor because what's about to come on this realm, Anti-Spiritual will be mentioning this in his channel. Bro, what's about to come on this fucking realm? Yo, bring on the so-called apocalypse. And apocalypse literally comes from ancient Greek, if I'm not mistaken, revelation, meaning the veil is lifted. Bring on the apocalypse because fuck this system. I'm done with it. I hate it. I have nothing to want to do with it whatsoever. Bring it on, my brother. So even 2012 ain't gonna have anything about what the movie 2012 ain't gonna have nothing about what's gonna really take place.
Right. That 2012 joint isn't even gonna be like half as bad as what really gonna happen, to be honest.
I'm telling you, my brother, straight up. Yeah, some good stuff. Cheer on the apocalypse. Cheer on all these disasters and whatnot. It's about time for Mayat. It's literally about time for cosmic universal balance to be restored. These parasites gotta go.
went down? You know, they must think we're crazy. You know, we're sitting up there cheering this thing on because that's what this is the return. That Saturn energy that was prophesied to return, that is our father energy. That is representing us. And that is crystallization. That's why they call it the Christ energy. You know, this is the return. That's why they have movies with Will Smith, you know, leading the way to fight the meteors and all. Because what they want us to do, now they want to preach a message of love. You know, there's love. You know, they know what time it is. They didn't study the DNAs. They didn't raided the tombs. They know what time it is. You know, and so now we want to embrace them, fight against anything that's coming up against this earth. You know, when they know that's us. You know, coming over to take over the power and control. You know, and they want us to band with them to fight against our own energy, to stop this apocalypse. You know, this is time. You know, to bring it on, let it fall down, because it's not, you know, it's not a righteous civilization that we're in now, and we're the only ones that's going to bring it in, because we have the ability to tap into that universal, in other words, the laws of the universe is what we're trying to come up under by practicing the principles of righteousness, demonstrated by all 12 signs of the zodiac, okay? And when we start practicing, you know, our values and our compassion and our humanitarianism and our, you know, every last one of these, when we start using all of these righteous principles, then we've reversed our rotation to a spiritual rotation. We become full, we become whole, we become sacred, you know, and we become empowered.
Well, Dr. Bass, what can I say? Today was a really good one, most predominantly, of course, due to the good weather. Last week Sunday, it had rainy weather over on my end, so like yeah, it just wasn't possible. But like yeah, the good weather today, grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you for having the time to literally allowing it all to happen. Thank you so very much, Dr. Bass. Thank you so very much, spiritual team, spiritual brethren source, for the message being shared. And yeah, based off of what Sister Myra just shared, brother, yeah, as we're closing this one off, a really good one today. Any last thoughts there, particularly on the video we just got off?
Oh yeah, for like that video is straight facts. Like you can't, like, especially with nature, you can't control nature. Like nature is gonna do whatever it wants to do, you know what I'm saying? So we might as well be on its side, you go, because we are nature, you know what I'm saying? So they program a lot of people to be like, oh, we gotta fight off the so-called quote unquote aliens and whatnot, but we are really these beings, you know what I'm saying? So why would we want to fight against our own beings? And why would we want to stay or have this oath still be alive if we are ushering in a new oath? You know what I'm saying? So it's all inward voice. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't be fooled by all the BS. And we're going to have to team up with our spiritual team and attack these dark entities and even these humans, because we're ushering in the new era at this point.
Indeed, Dr. Bass. And you know it's interesting, Brother Panic mentioned it, Dr. Mumbi mentioned it, who else mentioned it? Bobby Hemmett himself mentioned it as well. We are the aliens. We are extraterrestrials. We're just yeah, bound to these physical bodies, whether regardless of whatever the reason may be. But suffice it to say, bro, it's time. It's time. Whatever natural disasters or whatever it is you see taking place, bring it on. Fuck the system. I don't care about this goddamn system no more. I don't care about this stupid shit no more. And humanity won't come with this shit. Humanity is on its last legs. Just like what Bobby Hemmett himself said, and especially when you read H.P. Lovecraft's books, where he's talking about these great entities, Cthulhu, Yog Sothoth, Azathoth, Nyarlathotep, these great beings that actually represent our true self. Bring them on. Forget humanity. Humanity is on its last legs. Humanity has what, been a parasite that's literally been nothing more than a fucking bane on this planet's existence anyway. So yeah, get rid of the problem and you have the solution, right? Get rid of the cause. No, get rid of the get rid of the cause and you have the cure. There you go. Plain and simple. Like I may sound like a misanthrope at this point, but bro, humanity hasn't really done anything for me to really even give a shit about it apart from observing it from a distance. You know, like how you go on these safaris and you go in the jungle and like you observe these animals. They always tell you simply observe them from a distance. Yeah, that's how I observe humans. Most humans now observe these motherfuckers from a distance because trust me, a lot of motherfuckers are just not in the place where you should even be messing with them right now. But Dr. Bass, thank you so very much. Any last words? Any last thoughts? By the way, Dr. Bass, you the previous lives that we did, are they in any way, shape, or form about to be uploaded soon, or I don't know, you still need to be given some time or something?
Uh, I I have some stuff that's walking in the background, so like, well, yeah.
Yeah, and that's Dr. Bass letting us know something's going on. So yeah, I wish you all the best, bro, Dr. Bass. It was my this past week was my solar return. So yeah, happy belated solar return to me. And yeah, what can I say, Dr. Bass? Yeah, it's been a good one. It's been a good one. Thank you very much for the opportunity. This one was long, but honestly, the information was gold. Like all these brethren who are more qualified in the occult, who literally comprehend the changes and the new events that are about to take place. Bro, away with the system. Away with this bullshit. And sorry for everyone who's attached to this bitch because they're about to receive a rude awakening, as they call it. I mean, they're not even fast asleep. They were knocked out unconscious. Shout out to Dr. Mumbi on that one. Sorry for anyone still attached to this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, because like other people's BS is their own problem, so we shouldn't be messing with other people's problem because we got our own problems. And then we use like the laws of cause and effect as well, and it's kind of like all dominoes or sandcastles. It's like you build it up, but to rebuild something, you have to break it all down, and it all has to crumble. So you have to like push those dominoes to crumble to rebuild something new. So it's just the same thing as this system.
As Sister Myra said, there's no way you can build something new on top of an old foundation. The old foundation has to go. Gotta start from the ground up. And honestly speaking, bro, whatever it is that we're going to transform into, whatever it is that's going to happen after this, yo, this is going to be better than any fucking movie we've ever watched. Straight up, my brother. Straight up. All these movies will pale in comparison to what's really about to happen. So yeah, I really do look forward to people really getting the message as much as possible on different platforms and whatnot, because as Dr. Bass always does, gotta make sure that people are very well aware of all the events that are taking place, and that yeah, all the books and all the knowledge and information that we shared, get to reading these books, people, get to really occupying your time and using it wisely in order to really build yourself up spiritually, fortify yourself mentally, spiritually, the whole nine yards, to prepare for whatever is about to take place. Because, A, what's about to take place, like I said, it's going to be better than any fucking apocalypse movie that you've ever fucking watched. Straight up.
Oh yeah, that's straight up facts, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Nah, I appreciate you for literally giving us the opportunity, and appreciate the great spiritual brethren and yeah, the whole nine yards, the cosmos, the source, the whole nine yards for allowing this to happen. Dr. Bass, indeed, you are much appreciated. Thank you, brother.
Oh yeah, you too.
Peace.
Oh yeah, follow the podcast. Oh yeah, like the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, follow with the bell, and make sure you leave a review for the podcast. See y'all in the next time. Peace.